Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million kalpas. Now we are able to hear, study, and follow it. May we fully realize the Tathagata's true meaning. I'm very happy to be here at this beautiful city of Berlin. I just went to the Pergamon Museum today. It's an amazing museum with artifacts from the earliest human civilization, Babylonian artifacts and Egyptian and many other things. And tonight, here, we have people coming from so many different places. So you speak German, Deutsch. I know many of you speak English. Some of you speak Chinese. I know some of you speak Polish. Some of you speak Ukrainian. Some of you speak Russian. Some of you speak Spanish. Any other languages? Czech. Any other? Turkish. Awesome. Any other languages? Okay. Portuguese. Okay. Great. And probably some other languages as well. So why are we here today? Well, we're here to learn about the Buddha. Now, and the Buddhist way of living. Now, obviously, you all come from different cultures, different traditions, and the things you do are very different. Maybe some of you are engineers, some of you are school teachers, maybe some of you are nurses, maybe some of you are doctors, maybe some of you work in a grocery store, maybe some of you are scientists. So you have your expertise, your specialty, and something you are good at. But all of you here can learn to be a Buddhist or the Buddhist way of living. How do we know that? Because it is universal. It is something that everyone, no matter what culture, what country, what region you are from, you can learn to become a Buddhist. Now, what does it mean? What is the Buddhist way of life, the Buddhist way of living? Well, there's many ways to talk about it, but we talk about it tonight, from three things: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We call them the three jewels, the three precious things. The most precious things in life are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Now, this is a regular class, even though many of you probably are new here. Many of you have been here for over a year. So in this regular class, Shifu Simplicity lead all of you to do meditation and give a Dharma talk. At the end of the class, we'll do a dedication. And part of the dedication is these verses. 自歸依佛. Say it with me. 自歸依佛. 當願眾生體解大道發無上心. So in English, that means I take refuge in the Buddha. May all sentient beings understand the great way profoundly and bring forth the Bodhi mind. The second thing we say in dedication is this. Try to follow me too. 自歸依法，當願眾生，深入經藏，智慧如海。And that means, in English, I take refuge in the Dharma. May all sentient beings deeply enter the Sutra treasury and have wisdom vast as the sea. And the third thing that we chant is this. 自歸依僧，當願眾生，同理大眾，一切無礙。In English, that means I take refuge in the Sangha. May all sentient beings form together a great assembly, one and all in harmony. Now, in these three verses, we learn about the Buddhist way of life. These are three most important things in Buddhism: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Now, I take refuge in the Buddha. That means there are two meanings. One is called I rely on the Buddha. The second meaning is I return to the Buddha. What does it mean I rely on the Buddha? That means I take Buddha as my teacher. So, if you're an engineer, if you're a housewife or house husband, or if you are a nurse, what does it mean I take Buddha as a teacher? I take Buddha as my teacher. What do I learn from the Buddha? When Shifu says, everybody can learn the Buddhist way of living, that's what I mean. I take Buddha as a teacher. Buddha shows us the Buddhist way of life, of living. So, what does Buddha know that we need to learn? Well, what does the word Buddha mean? What does the word Buddha mean?
Awakened.
Awakened one, right? The awakened one, the enlightened one. He's awakened. What is awakened? To the truth about himself. So we learn from the Buddha the truth about ourselves. That is to be awakened. The truth about ourselves. But when we understand the truth about ourselves, we also understand the truth about everybody else, because we have the same fundamental nature, the Buddha nature. How do I know that? Well, listen. I want to do an experiment with you. Listen carefully. You hear? Is that Deutsch or Chinese? Or Hindu or? No, it's everybody hears, right? And it's beyond languages. How is it that you can hear?
I got ears.
You got ears, right? You got ears. But dead people have ears. They don't hear, right? So we can hear. Listen. Do you hear? No? Wrong, you do. You do hear. You do hear. There's no sound, right? The sound? There's no sound. Whether there's sound or there's no sound, you know. You have this ability to know. So, we have a mind that can know. Is that mind German or Chinese or Polish? No, right? You know. And that's universal. So everybody can know, can hear, can see, they can learn. Can you learn new things? Do you all have the ability to learn new things? Yeah? Okay. Have you ever made mistakes in your life? Yeah? Okay. So, have you ever corrected your mistakes? Yeah? Okay. All right. You got it. That's what it takes to become a Buddha. To know, to be able to learn, to reflect on yourself and know what you did right or what you did wrong, and then change, become better. So you use that ability, these abilities that every one of you have. You learn that, you learn to become a scientist, an engineer, a mom, a dad, a nurse or a teacher. You use that ability to learn all these different things you know now. You use that ability to learn all these different languages you know now. But what we want to learn from the Buddha is the truth about ourselves. And the first truth about ourselves is that we have the ability to know. Is it? But that's nothing. What's the big deal? What is so important about that? Oh, this is so important. Now, if I say something in Chinese, many of you will not understand. Like, 自歸依佛. So, those of you who don't know Chinese, you don't know what I said, right? But you heard something, 自歸依佛. I just say, I take refuge in the Buddha. Now, that's something good to say, but if I say something mean, like you are stupid, in Chinese, you hear it, you know the sound, you hear something, right? But you can't interpret it. Your mind that discerns and judges and compares and analyzes and likes and dislike, your consciousness part of your mind cannot jump into action because you don't know what I said. But if you do know what I said, your consciousness mind jump in and make comparisons, make interpretations, and then decide I like it or don't like it. Yeah? We do this all our lives. Whenever we know something, we hear something, we see something, we smell something, we taste something, we directly experience something, the other part of our mind, the consciousness part of our mind, jump in and start to interpret and start to judge, start to discriminate. Yeah? So that's how we have conflicts, because sometimes we misunderstand. Sometimes we believe in different things. Sometimes we see things differently. Yeah? So when we see things differently, when I have a different opinion from you, what do? Well, we can fight about it. We can have an argument. Or I can kill you. You can kill me. That's one way, conflict. Another way is to say, okay, I don't care. You do your way, I do it my way. Yeah, we'll go different ways. That's another way. And the third way is, why do you think this way? Why is it different from my thinking? Let me learn why you think this way. Let me learn why you say that. Maybe I have something new that I didn't know. Maybe you see things in a different way, right? So the third way, I can learn from you, you can learn from me, our differences. Yeah? And then we can talk about it and figure out, maybe we can still be friends. We can still be friends, I can still respect each other, but then, we learn about the different ways of looking at life. So the third way shows us a way to harmony. So remember, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, all in one in harmony. All in one in harmony. When we don't know that we use our mind and see things differently, we can have conflict, we can have harmony. That's another thing we learn from the Buddha, how to have harmony. How to have harmony. So therefore the Buddha built a Sangha. The Sangha is all about learning how to awaken ourselves, how to awaken other people, and how to live together in harmony. So when I awaken myself, when I know the truth about myself, I learn one thing. We are very similar. We all speak different languages, we come from different backgrounds, we believe in different things maybe, but we all have something in common. One, we know things. Yeah? We know things. And that is a very powerful thing. That's the most fundamental thing about you, is that you can know. A tree is not a sentient being. It doesn't have the ability to feel and know and think. A rock, no. Water, no. Fish? Yes. Yeah, fish no, right? Fish can feel pain. You think a fish can feel pain?
Yes.
Oh yeah. You think a dog can feel and know? They know, they feel, right? You think a pig can know and feel?
Yes.
Yeah. They have little piggy, father pig, mother pig, little pigs, pig family. They know and they feel, they care about each other, right? Sentient beings. So Buddha see people are important, but not just people, sentient beings. Beings that can know and feel. That's what sentient being is, being that can know and feel. Sentient beings. Any sentient being can be a Buddha eventually, because we know. But human beings, we have a very high ability to learn, to understand more than many of the animals. So the animals, they have to learn in another lifetime. But human beings, we can learn how to awaken ourselves. But awaken ourselves, that sounds very mysterious. It's not mysterious. You already learned the first thing about awakening yourself is knowing. You have the ability to know. Now, do you ever get upset? Yeah, we get upset. Do you ever feel calm and peaceful? Sometimes, right? Maybe earlier when we meditated. You get angry too. Maybe you get greedy sometimes. When you see a big chocolate cake, maybe you get greedy. Maybe you get jealous. Maybe you feel sad. Maybe you feel excited. We all have those experiences, right? But we have those emotions, feelings up and down, happy and sad, that come from the consciousness part of our life, our mind. The consciousness part of our mind. When we judge, when we say, I like this, I don't like this. And then our mind goes up and down and up and down. You say something to me, very nice, oh, I'm happy, I love you. You say something mean to me, oh, that's terrible. How can you say that? I get angry, I get hurt. See, when that happens, there are two things that happen. One, you heard something, right? You know. You knew, you heard the sound. You know. And two, the conscious mind jumping to judge and say, you say something, I don't like it, I hate you, or I'm hurt. In the first part, when you know the sound, when you hear 自歸依佛, you can't judge. You can't judge. You simply know, right? And then when you judge, when you learn, oh, what did Shifu say? Oh, he said this and that. Oh, I like it. Okay, I like you, Shifu. You judge, right? You compare, you interpret, you judge. So it's that second part that make our mind go up and down and emotional and hate each other or love each other. But in the first part of your mind, the knowing, it doesn't go up and down. It doesn't get emotional. You simply know, right? You simply know. See the two-part process? You simply hear. And then, was that a nice sound? You like it? Beautiful, yeah? That's the second part of the process, right? So, oh, I like it. If I scratch. There's also two parts, right? First part, you know. And the second part, why did you do that? So, this is important to learn about your own mind. You want to be awakened, like the Buddha. You got to learn about your own mind. And that first part of the knowing, what are the qualities of that knowing part of your mind? It doesn't go up and down. It doesn't get emotional. It just is. It just is. And the second part depends on how we think. Now, you may think differently because the way your parents taught you, the way that your friends, the friends you have, the people you're with, the culture, and that's all different. Yeah? So if somebody say, you are a pig, many people may get upset. Maybe they think, you're calling me a pig. Are you saying I'm fat? Or are you saying I'm dirty? Or are you saying I'm stupid? So you interpret that. Yeah? See, the two parts. First, you hear some sound. You're a pig. And then you interpret. And then because of your culture, your upbringing, yeah, your conditioning, what you learn, you say, how can you say that? That is a terrible thing to say. But maybe another person hear, you're a pig. Another person may say, oh, thank you for the compliment. Pigs are so cute. Pigs are friendly. Pigs are smart. So you're saying I'm smart and friendly and cute. Thank you. I'm Itofo. Can you interpret that way? Yeah? You could. You could interpret that way. You can say, you're calling me fat and stupid? That's mean. Or you could interpret in a third way. Like the Buddha. The Buddha said, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift of words that you bring me. Okay? Whatever words you say to me, that's a gift. And some gifts are useful, some gifts are not useful, right? If it's not useful, I just let it go. No big deal. The mind is calm. I am calm. Can you do that? You see, the first part is the same in everybody. The knowing. You hear some sound. You hear some sound, right? The first part is universal. Everybody is the same. But the second part, everybody is different. Some people get upset. Some people say, and some people say, thank you. If it's useful to me, thank you. If it's not useful to me, I can still thank you, but I just don't keep it inside and make myself mad. Can you do that? That's the second part. The second part of our mind that we need to work on. Right? We need to work on. We learn smart way, intelligent way, wise ways to deal with things in life. And that's what we can learn from the Buddha. But also, the first part, Buddha point out, that is so important. The knowing part. Usually we don't think about it because we immediately jump into the second part. The thinking part, the feeling part, the judging part, right? In everything that we do in life, we immediately get trapped in the second part. The judging, the feeling, the like and dislike. And we don't know how to get out of it. But the first part is also very important. Why? Because if today somebody says something really mean to me, really nasty to me, but who is me? Who's I? Am I the conscious I or the knowing I? The knowing mind or the conscious mind is reacting. If it's the knowing mind, okay. Right? Remember, the knowing mind doesn't get emotional. It just is. I just hear it. Okay. If the conscious mind is the master, that's very different. If the conscious mind is the master, I say, ugh, how can you say such mean things to me? I'm hurt. Oh. Yeah? And then 5 years later, you remember what he said to me before, 5 years ago? Oh, it hurts. When I think about it, it still hurts. I believed that the conscious part of my mind is the real me. And then I was hurt. And today I'm still hurt. But I didn't know. There's a different way to react, yeah? I can react differently. I can take it as a gift. It's okay. Useless gift. Thank you. Bye-bye. I don't hurt. Right? If the knowing part of my mind is the master. Oh, okay, I hear something. Okay, let me think about this, what you said. Is it useful to me? Is it not useful to me? If it's useful, oh, thank you so much. Say some more. Tell me some more. Yeah? If it's not useful, okay, thank you. Throw away. Just throw away the gift. Then I can be at peace. I can be at peace. Yeah? Now, if you run into difficulty at work, yeah? Something challenging, some obstacles at work, how does the Buddhist way of dealing with that? Again, there's a two process, right? Knowing and thinking about it. Knowing and thinking. Let's say your team. One person in your team is being difficult, right? So, how do you deal with it? If the conscious mind is the master, who's the master here? You decide. If the conscious mind is the master, oh, I'm so unlucky. Why do I have to work with that person? Why is he being so difficult? Yeah, and then, well, you can have a conflict, or you can talk it out. You can ignore each other. You can feel upset, right? Or you can be wise. Okay, let's all in one in harmony. One and all in harmony. Okay, let's learn to be in harmony. Yeah. Or you can just let the knowing mind be the master. The knowing mind. Oh, okay, this is happening. This is happening. I see. I hear. This is happening. Now let me think about this. See, if the knowing mind is the master, and the consciousness mind work for the knowing mind, you see, that's different. The conscious mind works for the knowing mind. Okay, the knowing mind knows, and then okay, now let's think about this objectively. Let's be objective. He is saying something, he's being difficult. What can we do? What can I do to make things better? Do I have to get emotional? No. Do I have to blame him? No. Do I have to get hurt? No. Do I have to feel unlucky? No. It's a problem. Everybody runs into a problem every day. A problem is not a big deal. You just deal with it. You just deal with it. When you go out, want to go have a picnic in the park, and it starts to rain. You say, oh, I'm so unlucky. It's terrible. Why does it have to rain? That's stupid, right? You deal with it. You take an umbrella and have a picnic in the rain. Or you wait till the rain's over. You deal with it. You simply, calmly use your knowing mind. Okay, this is happening. What do I do? He's being difficult. Maybe he's having some difficulties in life. Maybe he's upset. What can I do for you to make your life a little bit better so that we can work on this project together? Yeah? Maybe I bake a cake for you. Yeah? Show some caring. And then we can talk about it. Right? So let the knowing mind be the master and use the conscious mind wisely. That's what the Buddha teaches us. Buddha says, I take refuge in the Buddha. May all sentient beings. May all sentient beings in 3 cases, right? That means we always think about sentient beings. We care about sentient beings. Instead of looking at your coworker and say, why are you being difficult? May all sentient beings. Yeah? So, what can I learn about you? What can I know about you? Do you want to share something? Let's be friends. Let's talk it out. Yeah? Let's have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and just chat. Get to know him. May all sentient beings understand, right? Understand each other. One and all in harmony. Yeah? That's the Buddhist way of looking at things. One, you have the knowing mind, and all sentient beings have the knowing mind. So all sentient beings fundamentally are equal. In our past, in human history, we didn't always believe that, right? Some people are aristocrats, and then we have these peasants, and we have slaves. And that's the way it should be. In India, yeah, they were the priest caste, and they were the kings and the aristocrats, yeah, and the military generals, and then we have the common people, and then we have slaves. There were times that we didn't believe that everybody was equal. But how is everybody fundamentally equal? Do they really deserve the same thing? Well, we are sentient beings. We all know and feel. That's the most basic thing about ourselves. We know and feel, right? We can learn. We can reflect and become better. Do you think a slave caste know and feel? Do you think they can learn and become better? Do you think they can become a doctor if they have the chance? Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So we humans, we make artificial discriminations and make us unequal. But the Buddha realized something very simple, very real, that you can know. Every single person can know, no matter what caste you belong to. Right? And then Buddha said, you are a good person, you are a bad person, you are high or low, you are respected or disrespected, not because of your birth, not because of your skin, not because of where you come from, not because of what you speak, or not because of what you know, but because of your deeds, because of what you do, right? If you always think, may all sentient beings, may you, let me know about you, let me care about you, let's see what we can do together, yeah, make our life better. If we always think like this, then you deserve to be respected, right? If you always think, me against you, why don't you do things my way? Why don't we fight it out? I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I can beat you up, so you listen to me. If we think this way, then you suffer, I suffer, yeah? When we have conflict, everybody suffers. That's not necessary. So, that's not, may all sentient beings. You know, I only think about myself, think about my people, think about my caste, yeah? So we learn a lot from the Buddha already. Very important things about yourself. The knowing is always there. It's always there. What about when you sleep? When you sleep, deep sleep, is the knowing mind there? Is it still there? Yeah? Why? Because if I strike a big one, if I strike the gun very loud, you wake up. That means even when you sleep, your knowing mind can know. Can know. Now, when you were little, did you know? Yeah, of course. When you're older, do you know? Yeah? The knowing, does it change? No, it just is. How can it change? Did your knowing get older? No. So my hearing get older. Yeah, I don't hear as well. But no, that's not true. Your ears gets older, but you hear sound, you hear no sound. That knowing is the same. So, if my ears get older, I don't hear as well, right? The sound doesn't come in as much. But the knowing is still knowing. It's just knowing. Yeah? Maybe you speak German, you speak English, speak Chinese, but the knowing is just knowing. And from the knowing, our conscious mind jumps into work, and that's the same for everybody. Even though you interpret, you read differently, you understand differently, so though you have different emotions, you feel differently. But that part we can learn how to make it better, right? I can get upset, I can stay calm, I can react in a stupid way, I can react in a wise way. That we can learn from the Buddha, and that's where the Dharma come in, right? The Dharma. May all sentient beings enter the Sutra treasury, enter deeply into the Sutra treasury, and have wisdom vast as the sea. Do you think you have wisdom? A lot of wisdom? Vast as the sea? Do you think you have a lot of wisdom? Who thinks you have wisdom as the sea? Not many people think, oh yeah, I'm kind of smart, but maybe not as vast as the sea, yeah? But you can. You can. It's not about your education. You know, he's a doctor and he's an elementary school. It's not about that. It's about the knowing and how you use your conscious mind. Right? So, if I can see all of you as fundamentally equal, and then when we have something different, when we see things differently, it's not a bad thing, is it? It's an opportunity for me to see something different, to learn something different. So I talk with you. Why do you disagree with me? Let's talk about it, and I can learn something. Maybe I still disagree with you, but at least I learn how another person sees in a different way, right? So this way, I can learn from everybody. That's how you have wisdom. Vast as the sea, you can learn from everybody. But especially the Buddha. The Buddha has those teaching in the sutra, in the scriptures, in the Buddha sutras. There's so much wisdom in there. So much wisdom in there. If you pick up a sutra and you study it, it's amazing. Every sutra is amazing. Shifu is teaching Heart Sutra, which is what we chant in the morning service, the Heart Sutra. And it's only 260 words, 300 words. But it takes me a year to teach that. 1 year to teach, because there's so much wisdom in there. Form is not different from emptiness. Emptiness is not different from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Yeah? So it is with feeling, conception, volition, and consciousness. Feeling is emptiness. There's so much wisdom in that, because what does it mean? Feelings are empty. We're not saying you shouldn't feel. No, that's not what it means. It means that what feelings does to you. Do you let feeling take over you? Or do you use your feelings in a smart way? When you feel angry, you say, I'm so angry. That means feelings is dominating dominating you. Does that ever happen to you? Yeah? It happens? When you get so very angry, you say, I'm angry. That means a feeling. You have many feelings, right? But you let one feeling dominate all of you. But it doesn't have to be that way. Remember the two processes. You know and you feel. You think and feel. You know and you think and feel. If the knowing is the master, okay, you say something, you did something to me. Let me think about it. Oh, I don't like it. There's anger. There's anger. Anger arises, right? Anger is inside. There's anger inside. You don't have to deny that. You don't have to suppress it. You don't have to deny it. You say, okay, there's anger. That's how you deal with it. You say, there's anger in me. You see the difference? I'm angry. There's anger in me. Do you see the difference? Can you react that way too? Can you live your life that way too? There's anger. There's anger inside. You acknowledge it. And then you're not so angry. You're a little bit angry. Yeah, you're still angry. That's okay. But you're not so angry. You don't have to let that feeling, that one feeling, become so big and dominate you. That's what many people do. But it doesn't have to be that way. If the knowing mind is the master, there's anger. But what's the quality of our feelings? The common quality in our feelings is they're impermanent. They go away by themselves. So if you say, okay, there's some anger. He says something really mean. He tried to humiliate me. There's something, there's anger in me. There's anger inside. But there's also so many other things in me. I am so much more than that one feeling, right? I can do a chant. Yeah, I can do a chant. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. What can I learn from? How does the Buddha react with something like this? I take refuge in the Buddha, may all sentient beings. May all sentient beings. Let me learn more about him. You're being mean to me, but let me learn more about you. May all sentient beings understand the great way. So let me understand you. Yeah? Better. I can react that way too. So that's how you change. You change your way of living in accordance with the Dharma. That's practicing, that's learning the Dharma and practicing the Dharma. But there's so much more. Obviously, we can't talk about all the Dharma. You have to come here every week and learn, right? But that is already talked about some very essential things. You are not powerless to what people say or do to you. You don't have to let those feelings dominate you. You can always react in a different way. That's why everybody can learn the Buddhist way of living. Because you can react in a different way. You can choose to react in in the old way, which make you up and down, upset and depressed and angry, or you can choose to react in a different way. Do you have that choice? Do I have a choice to interpret these words and react differently? When you say, you are a terrible person, you are evil, you are whatever. Do I have a choice to think, okay, thank you for showing me your opinion. May I ask you why you feel that way so I can learn your perspective? Can I react that way? Do you want to? It's your choice. You don't have to, but it's your choice, right? Oh, today somebody's giving me a gift. Let me learn how to use this gift. Why do you think I'm stupid? Why do you think I'm stupid? Is this something I said, something I do? Please, teach me how to be smarter. But you don't have to disagree. You don't have to agree, right? You can say something. You say, okay, that kind of makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. Thank you anyway. You can still think of me as stupid, but I don't think of me as stupid. That's okay. I have that choice. See, you have that choice. And that's why you can learn the Buddhist way of living. Because when you learn the Buddhist way of living, you can become wiser and wiser. You can discover real peace. What is real peace? Where is real peace? Is there real peace? Is there real inner peace? When everything in the world is getting crazy here and there, right? How can we have peace of mind? Well, peace of mind is right here. The knowing mind doesn't get emotional. It just is. Just let the knowing mind be the master. See, when you meditate, what do? You try to be mindful. Okay? There are many ways to be mindful. You can observe the breath. What is happening when you observe the breath? You're using the knowing mind, not the conscious mind, right? Say, okay, breathing in, breathing out. A little bit. Okay, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. You're using a little bit of the conscious mind, but mostly the knowing mind, right? You want to bring the knowing mind to the center, to the forefront. It be the center of your life, the knowing. Because the knowing is at peace. It's always peaceful. Because it doesn't get emotional, it doesn't get up and down. It's the conscious mind, when it interprets something, it doesn't like it, it gets up and down, it gets emotional. But the knowing mind, here, observe the breath. Or I can observe the body, become aware of the body, mindfulness of the body. Okay, mindfulness of the body. I just simply listen to the body, what my neck is telling me, what my shoulder is telling me, what my wrist. Yeah, if you use computer a lot, maybe it hurts here, maybe it hurts here, right? So you listen to your body. You listen. That's using the knowing mind. The knowing mind. So in a lot of our meditation, we try to make you understand the importance of knowing. Knowing, just simply knowing, just simply knowing. Don't jump into the judgment, right? Just know. You don't have to react so quickly. You simply know. And you know how deep that can get? How deep that can? You can know everything that way. That's kind of mysterious. Buddha used the knowing mind, can know everything. Know everything. But that's in the future. So don't underestimate the power of the knowing mind, and let that be the center of your life, and then you can use your judging mind in a wise way. If you get upset, if you get angry, if you get hurt, then it must be that the consciousness mind is doing something stupid. And we do that all the time. It's called ignorance. So the conscious mind, you learn how to use it wisely, that's the Dharma. That's the Dharma. Okay? So, may all sentient beings form together a great assembly, one and all in harmony. Now we are in an assembly, right? We gather here in an assembly. Are we harmonious? Yeah, we're harmonious. For now. Because we want to learn from the Buddha, right? And that's beautiful. That's really nice. That's really beautiful. So you will not know each other. There's so much opportunity to learn from each other here, just right here, right? I don't know much about Czech culture. There's so much history there I don't know about it, right? There's so much about German history that I don't know about. There's so much about Polish history and and European history that I don't know about. There's so much you can learn from each other just being here in this assembly. May all sentient beings live the Buddha way of life. Okay? So I take refuge in the Buddha. I take Buddha as my teacher. I take Dharma as my teacher, as my textbook, right? The Dharma is my teacher. Sangha is my teacher. Sangha is the monastics. So we have Venerable Tenzin Pedro, Venerable Shifu Simplicity, right? So we have monastics here. We devoted to the study of the Dharma and try to live our life in the Buddhist way, with the three jewels, right? We try to do this, and we try to teach. So you have the opportunity to learn that, to take the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha as a teacher, the three jewels as a teacher. Right? That's the first meaning of the three refuges. But there's a second meaning. No, I'm not going to talk another 30 minutes, don't worry. So there's a second meaning, return. I return to the Buddha. I rely and return to the Buddha. What does it mean to return to the Buddha? Buddha is gone, right? He lived 1,000 years ago. So how do you return to the Buddha? Well, you return to the Buddha within. Because what is the Buddha? It's the awakened one. Can you become the awakened one? Yeah. If you use your knowing, you learn from the Dharma to how to use your conscious mind, you can awaken yourself. So, to return to the Buddha, I take refuge in the Buddha. I return to the Buddha means I return to the Buddha inside. I uncover, I discover, I uncover the Buddha inside. I become a Buddha myself. I become awakened. Can you do that? Buddha says yes. It's not just, Prince Siddhartha is a very special guy. He's a superhero kind of person. He has different genetics, right? No, that's not true. He's just a person. And we are a person. The Buddha says, you can awaken yourself. Man, woman, wherever you're from, whatever caste, right? We don't have caste anymore. But not here anyway. So whoever you are, you can awaken yourself. That's called a return to the Buddha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I return to the Buddha. I aim to become a Buddha myself. Okay? And I return to the Dharma. What does it mean? I rely on the Buddha. I learn from the Dharma, right? I learn the scriptures. I come to classes. I learn from the Sangha, the Shifus. But what does it mean to return to the Dharma? Where does the Dharma come from? How did Buddha came up with all this teaching? He was awakened, and then he sees the truth, and he just simply tell it as it is. He tell the way it is. What did he tell us? He said, when somebody says very mean things to you, you have different way to react, right? Isn't that the Dharma? You don't have to get upset. You can think of it as a gift. Well, that's a little bit of Dharma, right? But that's a very important Dharma. How does he come out with that? Because it is the truth. It is the way it is. You do have a choice. Right? If your mind is calm, if you use the knowing mind, you can see it for yourself. You can see the truth about this teaching yourself. Isn't that true? When Shifu says, you have a choice to react differently to what people say to you. Do you agree? Is that the truth? Yeah. If your knowing mind is at the center, then you can see directly, of course that's true. I can think this way, I can think that way. I can learn to speak German, I can learn to speak Chinese. I can use my consciousness in a way that I want to. I can use it to learn a different language. I can use it to learn to be an engineer. I can learn it to be a Buddhist if I learn the Dharma. And I can learn to think of your words as gift. I can do that. That's the Dharma. So it's amazing how much you can know about the reality of life by starting with knowing mind. Not jump directly into the conscious mind, but starting with the knowing mind. Because starting with the knowing mind, you are calm. You are not agitated. And when you are calm, you see deeply enter the sutra treasury. When you study, you can understand better. Understand the Great Way profoundly. You can understand profoundly. You can understand each other more profoundly if you observe rather than judge. Right? You have husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or father and mother and children. How to understand them profoundly? By knowing, using the knowing, just simply observe. Observe deeply, profoundly, before you react, before you jump and think, I know, this is what you think, I know what you're saying, right? When your kid says something stupid, don't do that, why do you say that? You think you know the kid, but maybe you don't. So observe, knowing, observe deeply. So whatever the Buddha teaches, you can verify for yourself that is the truth if you practice. And if you calm yourself, if you use the knowing, and eventually you will be able to verify everything that the Buddha teaches. The Dharma is the truth, and that's where you get the wisdom. Okay? So that's called returning to the Dharma. Means that you see the Dharma as reality. You see the truth. And you see yourself. That's called returning to the Dharma. And you can teach the Dharma too when you see it. Yeah? Now today, you can go teach your friend. When somebody says something to you, you don't have to get upset. You don't have to let the anger dominate you. You can look at it as gift. Can you teach somebody else that? Yeah. So the Dharma becomes you, right? Because you see it. The Dharma becomes you. You become one with the Dharma. Well, a little bit. Not all the Dharma, a little bit. You become one with the Dharma, with whatever you understand directly. It's not because you have to believe. It's not because you have to believe in the Buddha. No, you see it yourself. That's the truth. That's the beauty of the Dharma. So return to the Dharma. And what does it mean to return to the Sangha? I take refuge in the Sangha, return to the Sangha, one and all in harmony. And because you see the truth, you see the Dharma, you are in harmony. You don't want to fight anybody. You don't get upset with anybody. Even if we still get upset with you, you can be in harmony in your mind with that person, right? When somebody came to humiliate, came to insult the Buddha, He doesn't like the Buddha. He hates the Buddha. Buddha say, oh, thank you for your gift. By the way, I don't accept this gift. What happens when you don't accept the gift? You take the gift back, right? So Buddha tried to teach him something. Buddha is in harmony with that person. That person may not be in harmony with the Buddha, but Buddha is in harmony. He doesn't have anything, has no problem with him. He tried to figure a way, he tried to find a way to guide him, to care for him, so that he doesn't do stupid things, so he doesn't create bad karma. That's what the Buddha does with everybody. So harmony. How to return to the Sangha? The Sangha is the harmony inside. And you can have real harmony inside with the world if you have the Dharma wisdom. If you return to the Dharma. Now you say, but Shifu, there are some really evil people. They're starting wars and they're killing people, right? Well, we always kill people. Human history, we always kill each other. Why? Because they don't know the knowing and the consciousness and the gift. They don't know the Dharma. So, what do? Do we kill them? No, we try to teach. One person at a time, right? If everybody learns the Dharma, we'll have peace. That's gonna take forever, but that's okay. One person at a time. At least you start to have peace in your family, at work, a little bit, one person at a time, right? So that's the only way. You don't fight war with war. You don't fight violence with violence. You don't fight hatred with hatred, right? You have to fight hatred with compassion. You have to think about all sentient beings. Okay? All sentient beings. How can I teach this guy? Well, you don't know because you can't reach that person yet, right? But you can reach people around you. And the people around you can reach the people around you. And the people around you can reach people around you. Right? So I know Shifu's simplicity in Taiwan. Right? You don't know me, but she knows me. So she invites me here. And now you know me a little bit, right? That's how it works. That's how it works. You go out and meet your friends. You bring your friends here. And then more people begin to live the Buddhist way of life. So one by one, we begin to change the world a little bit, one person at a time. That's the only way. There's no quick way. There's no quick way, because if you kill all these evil people, you think they're evil, but what if they think you're evil too? Different perspectives, right? People see things in different ways. Yeah? You see him as an enemy, he sees you as an enemy. You see the cockroach as evil little things, the cockroach sees you as evil big things. Right? Who's right? That doesn't work. All sentient beings. I have to think what life is like for a cockroach to understand his perspective. Okay, so one person at a time, starting with yourself. The Buddhist way of living. By taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We rely on the three jewels, meaning that I take the three jewels as my teacher. And as I get better and better and better, I return inside. I become one with the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay? Let us conclude the talk with a dedication. May the merits of our deeds reach every part of the world. Sentient beings, large and small, all attain enlightenment.